Texas Democratic Party Chairman Kendall Scudder, thank you so much and welcome back to Ion Politics.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. So now we know that James Talarico, the Democratic Senate nominee, is going to be facing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on the Republican side. And we've already seen Talarico and his campaign waste no time. They've gone on offense. They've called Paxton the most corrupt politician in the United States. And so I'm wondering, is this a now or never moment for Texas Democrats to win a statewide seat or perhaps more? And what is the party doing to make that happen?
Well, of course, they called him the most corrupt politician in America. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And I'm glad that the Talarico campaign is calling it what it is. Ken Paxton has spent the entire time as Attorney General just completely covered in controversy, whether it's indictments or fraud allegations. It's just disgusting what he's put the state of Texas through. And Texans deserve better. They deserve elected leaders that are going to focus on solutions. And that's exactly what James Talarico is doing. This isn't a now or never, but it certainly is going to be a now. We're focused in to make sure that we're delivering for the people that are counting on us to succeed this election. If we fall short, we're going to brush ourselves off and keep going. But I do think that this is a unique opportunity for not just Democrats in Texas, but for the average person who is waiting for someone in government to fight for them. They feel like they're stuck at the bottom, groveling for crumbs, while everybody in the Epstein class is getting theirs. They're treating our tax dollars like their own personal feeding trough. James Talarico is here to deliver for those people that need a champion.
And do you think because Paxton is the Republican nominee that the national Senate Democrats, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, is going to send money to help the Talarico campaign in November?
The truth is, we're not sitting around and waiting for the cavalry to come. We are the cavalry. For cycle after cycle, national Democrats have given lip service to Texas, saying that we are a serious player and how important we are, but they haven't come with the resources to back that and prove it. So we're going to figure this out on our own. We've already put together a historic coordinated campaign for the state. It's only going to grow from now to November. If the national partners want to come in and help, that's awesome. We certainly welcome it. But we're not expecting that. I'm not sitting around waiting for that to happen. We're going to do this as Texans. We're pulling up, putting our boots on, pulling up our pants, rolling up our sleeves, and getting it done.
Do you think the chances are greater now, though?
You know, Ken Paxton is a deeply flawed human being, let alone politician. I think the whole country stands to lose a lot by having someone with his moral deficiencies serving in the United States Senate. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that people around the country see that and they want to make sure that we don't allow that to happen because, frankly, it would be below the dignity of the United States Senate.
I've heard the word corruption a lot coming from the Talarico campaign when describing Paxton, but also from gubernatorial nominee Gina Hinojosa when describing Governor Abbott. How central to the Democrats is this corruption theme? And, you know, how are you going to define it to voters?
I mean, one of the core reasons that government in Texas isn't working for you, working class people, is because they have chosen to use this government for themselves and their friends. Look no further than Adam Hoffman, who Ken Paxton gave a sweetheart 30-day deal after he sexually assaulted a 6-year-old boy for 3 years, and he was staring down the barrel of a life sentence. Look no further than Greg Abbott selling out our community public schools because his East Coast sugar daddy wrote him the largest contribution to his campaign in Texas history. They aren't working for us. And so there will be a core string line that we're talking about of corruption because that's what Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott have in common. They have only served themselves. They have only served the people that have given to their campaign. They have left all of us high and dry. They fought to privatize our community public schools. They have always put themselves above us and our communities. Gina Hinojosa and James Talarico are here to change that.
Texas is still a Republican state, and I was talking with a Democratic activist recently who said this is still a knife fight every day for Texas Democrats to win statewide. Haven't done it since 1994. And so I'm wondering what has to happen for either James Talarico or another statewide Democratic candidate to do that, as far as getting out the vote, as far as margins of victories in the large Democratic areas such as Dallas and the other big cities in the state.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a lot about turnout in major metros throughout Texas. I think we also have to make sure we're organizing in the 40 mid-sized cities with over 100,000 people in it that Democrats just frankly have not been doing the organizing work that they needed to. We've been building on that since I've become chairman a year ago, and I intend to continue doing that. But then also small town Texas that the Democrats haven't always shown up in. We haven't had the resources to do it. Every corner of Texas, 254 counties, leaving no one behind. That's how you make sure not only you win elections, but that you actually represent the public once you do win those elections. And so I think it makes the party stronger. It makes our candidates stronger. And, you know, I know it's not sexy for the news for me to say it, but we're just keeping our head down, rolling up our sleeves and doing the work. It's not about, you know, constantly showing up and being flashy. We'll leave that to the other guys. We're just shaking hands, looking people in the eye, telling them what we stand for and asking them for their vote because we're trying to make their lives better.
Democrats have criticized Republicans about the economy. And in response, the Republicans say, look, we didn't create this. Joe Biden did in 2022 with the record inflation that we saw. And yes, inflation has come down. Prices really haven't. We've seen gas prices go up because of the Iran war. And so I'm wondering to the independent voter, and there are an increasing number of independent voters in Texas, what is the message to them? And if they say, why should I trust Democrats to have them fix the economy?
You don't have to take my word for it. Just take the word of Donald Trump. He said the financial situation of Americans does not concern him at all. He said it himself. And we know that because we are seeing the impact of his economy all throughout our daily lives when we're buying groceries, when we're putting roofs over our heads, we're putting soccer cleats on our kids. And so, you know, I understand that in the offset of the pandemic, the Democrats were fighting to try to stop what those economic impacts were. But we have seen more than a year now, a year and a half of the Trump administration where he has objectively made life outrageously more expensive and created completely unnecessary conflict along the way in that process. You know, when Joe Biden was president, we weren't spending what we're spending right now per gallon when we were filling up our tanks. And that was... And I'm saying, sure, it was higher than it should have been, but it's not what it is now. And what we're looking at right now with Donald Trump or with the gas prices right now are directly because of the behaviors of Donald Trump, not because of a larger global economic situation. He is making life harder for Texans and Americans writ large. And so I think the average person feels that. They know it. They don't need me to explain it to them. And I think that the Republicans and the Trump administration are here for a reckoning this November as a result.
One other question I have, and that is you're getting prepared for your party convention, and you are being challenged in your role. And so I'm wondering, how confident are you that you will be able to win re-election?
When I became chairman just over a year ago, our party looked very different than it does today. It was a party deeply in debt with only a third of its precinct chairs filled across the state of Texas, coming out of an election where they had 27 vacancies on their ballots. Today, we are a debt-free organization with a $30 million coordinated campaign. We have a Democrat running in every state and federal office in Texas, and we have recruited and trained more than 1,000 precinct chairs around the state of Texas. We are rebuilding this party from the ground up. The grassroots activists around Texas know that. And so I'm feeling very good that our grassroots is excited about the direction of our party. They're excited about us actually winning elections for once in the state, which is what we've been doing for the last year. And so I'm looking forward to continue to serve as chairman for the next 4 years.
All right. Texas Democratic Party Chairman Kendall Scudder, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.